Honestly, my concern, and it will not be shared by too many, at least 2/3 of players, is Protoss and having a general response to mid to late game against Zerg and Terran. Now, I don't think the carriers were a perfect and ideal choice, but at least they were a choice. But with the Disruptor nerf and the carrier nerf, it feels like what fills in? We'll see. I look to be proven wrong. I want to commentate in HD my wrongness. That's what I would like. So you saw the worker. I'm gonna say buff. The worker buff in action there. Workers now attack more reliably. They don't have to stop entirely before tasing someone. Of course, they still do not counter Zerglings, so that's not really a concern here. Twilight Council. What's it going to be this time? DTs? Do we got Robo? It could still very much anything on the table. Charged Lots, Glaives, Dark Shrine. Probably Glaives. Still the default choice. Is it possible to burrow a ling near a gas and prevent someone from building on it? I have no idea. But also, why wouldn't you just put it where the base is? Not the most practical of strategies, but maybe? Since the gas geyser is technically a larger building than the like the refinery or the extractor, whatever. Is technically larger than the gas geyser itself, which is why sometimes you can wall in with them, or like you can't build when a siege tank is siege next to it, because it does take up that slightly more space. DT, maybe Archon drop, we'll see. Nina already opening up that back base. Scarlett, honestly, well, part of the reason I picked this map is because that back base is a liability for Zergs. So, I'd like to see what Ground Toss does with that. Though Nina here just going straight for the Archon. It's just going to be a Nidus all in. Turns it all around. We're doing single Archon drop openers. All right. Yeah. How many queens does it take to kill one Archon? Answer is, I think, like 3 or 4. Which, more than enough there. We got more DTs warping in. A second Archon. Things escalating yet again. Overlord speed. And a layer on the way. Forge. Blink. Couple more gates. Nina. Looking more towards that gateway-based army rather than going straight into more robo units. Besides, of course, that speed server. Okay. Alright. So this is happening. The Archons have taken a lot of damage. But kill a couple queens. Prism still well out of range. Gonna deal with some of the creep in the main as well. Still some very bruised. I mean, that Archon needs shields. Uh-oh. Alright. Spire. Once again, the choice. 4th base for Nina. Getting the robotics bay, as well as Blink. She's going to be going for the same thing. Same style. Similar units. And so will Scarlett. Will the Spire go unscouted until the mutas show up this time around? Hopefully not. Still, against ground toss, Mute is a very strong choice, as you don't have anything that can really directly deal with them. The Phoenixes remain the only direct counter to the Mutalisk. Slurps up the Archons. Robo Bay extended thermal lance upgrade. So we're going into Colossi, but Blinkstalker Colossi is very reminiscent of about a decade ago, where it was the unit composition, combined with sentries, because Force Field had no way to be broken except by your own units, really. So we'll see. But with the Spire done, that also offers the option of Corruptors, if we get that far. Though Mutalisks are the ideal choice, because they can actually do damage directly to ground. Still controlling the creep. Pretty noticeable lack of creep spread at this stage, after Nina's put some effort in. And creep tumors not spreading as fast. Or they cannot, the cooldown between being able to spread the creep tumor is longer. 13 instead of 11 seconds. Adds up. It's a little late to recall. Archons pop out. Oh, it's really late to... Okay, well that... A bit optimistic. Well, at least the Mutas are scouted before they get across the map this time. Some Banelings on the way. Deja vu. Here come the Mutas. There's enough Stalkers here to deal with it. A few Archons. Now, Archons can maneuver around the base. You no longer get stuck in the base. That's the big change. Is Archons can now move out of the wall without a step prism to help them when they're stuck. So, but, I mean, it's always good to have the prisms anyway. So, Nina gonna build 2 of them. There's a Dark Templar just out here. A single Scouting Colossus. I guess if only there was some sort of air unit that could move very quickly and help counter Mutas. And that unit is the Archon Prism. Yes, you had it right, says Nina. Right. All right, that's what we're doing. I guessed it perfectly on the first try. Well, we've got cannons that are blocking half the mineral line just to help deal with the Mutas here. The Speed Prisms. Strike Force Archon over here. There's a lot of ground units that need to be zoned out, or at least thinned out by the Colossi. The Archon Prisms. Just gonna drop out. Shield Battery overcharged. Shield Battery gone. Well, the Banelings are closing in. It's kind of hard to tell exactly what's happening down there. It's a bit of a mess. The Stalkers are holding the line. DTs are warped in. It's just fighting units here. And it looks like Nina will hold. With the mass Archon Prism. Wow. Okay. We're now up to a 5 Warp Prism team. 10 Archons. Certainly a very Nina choice for dealing with this. And if you're wondering, are there any changes that make these better? Not really. In fact, this doesn't even utilize the only change to the Archon, which means it can move around a little easier in buildings. I guess here, maybe. Next to this Spore Crawler, going to lose at least one of the Prisms. That one did have an Archon in it. A couple of the Archons getting left behind here. Oh my god, it is absolutely slaughtering. There's an Ultralisk Cavern on the way, but so little anti-air. Most of the Archons made it out. But certainly not all. Alright. Alright, here we are. Well, we'll see how it fares against Mass Ultralisk. Because apparently that's what we're doing now. We're doing Prism Archons against Ultra... Yeah, here we are. The weirdest version of the cinematic. And there's the Greater Spire. Broodlord's got a speed increase, but Broodlings last barely over half the time, which means the amount of Broodlings you can put on the field, especially if everybody's just sitting there attacking each other, is significantly less. But Broodlords are able to maneuver a little easier. Oh. Nino won in my heart that last game, not the other way around. That's what counts. Murdering the Spore Crawler and then just getting out. The Ultras intimidating the Archons, one of the only larger units, but not as large as it used to be. Still in charge, though. All right, the juggling continues. A single Muta. It's become an arcade game. All right. Don't worry. There are more prisms where that came from. Alright, so what's the army complement? We got 8 Archons, 3 Colossi, 14 Stalkers, and 6 Warp Prisms. Up against 9 Ultralisks. We got some more Corruptors on the way, a more direct counter. Though still vulnerable to the Archons. The Ultras chewing in, filing into the fight here. Oh, Corruptors are showing up, but they can get chased down. I believe the Speed Prisms are actually faster. And prisms only cost minerals, so... I mean, it kind of works. Like... I feel like it's gonna go great right up until it really doesn't. Like, right up until it truly fails horribly. Oh, no. Oh, no, 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 no. One fungal. And thousands of gas and minerals will be gone. Are these... I'm pretty sure most of these were DT Archons until recently as well. Well. The tactical goop here. The Contaminate on +3 attack. 4 Broodlords on the way as we struggle into the late game here. Ultralisk Broodlord and throwing some... I heard a few Banelings hit those rocks. Just saying. Alright, well, the Ultras are gonna get intercepted. Wow, the Ultras, it's quite noticeable with these wide shots here. A few Infestors have showed up. Oh, the Ultras, though. There's a bunch of Immortals in there. Oh, watch out, the Infestors, I think, were spotted. Gotta be very careful. Those Prisms gonna have a real tough time. It's some Broodlords getting involved. More being added in. Microing back. Fungal comes through. So many Immortals, though. It's not gonna... The Ultras have nothing that's gonna help them when the Immortals just start firing. The Broodlords are required. A few Roaches. Not... Okay, Cannons. Cannons are more than enough. Adding more Prisms. Refilling... This is certainly... Just to reiterate, there was no change that makes Prism Archon better. Not... It's just, this is, I guess, maybe the Forge upgrades. We're building 3 Prisms at a time. So... Meanwhile, Scarlett with Ultra Infestor Broodlord and some Spine Crawlers getting involved. Nina, High Templar Speed Prism with Immortals in the front lines. The Broodling count is not going to be as overwhelming as it may have been one patch ago. Here comes some storms, soften things up. There's no direct anti-air here, though, is the issue. You got to actually get underneath those Broodlords somehow, and with all the Infestors down there, well, this is not a new issue. Feedback. The Prism's trying to get in. There's 1 or 2 Fungals left, trying to bait them out, but the Templar are going down. The Broodling's chasing. The siege will continue. The army's about as good as it's ever going to get for both sides, at least in the near future. The Nexus itself is falling. Nina could probably afford to lose a few probes and fill in some army supply. I don't know if that army supply necessarily needs to be Warp Prisms, but I'm not one to disagree here. The Broodlords find another angle that they can hit. In fact, I'm not even sure if the Archons can contest them there, as they're over the top of some airspace. The Archon, oh no, 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 the fungal catches the prisms! But there's no corruptors, the Archons are chasing! They're underneath! The Broodlings are dying almost immediately! The battle, here come the Banelings! Picking up some more Archons! There's still a few corruptors in there! It does look like Nina is definitely losing the fight, but she's doing it so dramatically. Well, the Zerglings driven away, Scarlett sieging the main. Now, begrudgingly adding in a fleet beacon and a Stargate here is Nina. Without the Broodlords, the ground army, I'm including the Archons in this. Without the Broodlords, the ground army is a lot to contend with. Well, Burrowed Infestors. Do they have Neural Parasite? Indeed they do. Are there any Observers? Uh-oh. That's bad. The High Templar feedbacking each other. And that leaves very little to counter. Oh, no. And we're backed into a corner here. Well, here come the Prisms, but not so fast. Oh, wait, one Archon made it out. It's not going to get any better than this. Another fungal. The Archon's underneath. The Archon's stolen away. But a lot of the Archons are still doing damage. I have no idea what's going on. Is it worth... No, wait. No. Scarlett has Archons. Scarcons. No. I mean, kind of, but don't say that again. Meanwhile, the Prisms. The Archons, done working for Scarlett, now have permission to die. But is there enough on the ground? Trying to kill the Broodlords. Another fungal. Colossi given a deep tissue massage and a hot, actually more like a hot stone massage, all right, to the Ultralisks, because otherwise they're just shrugging it off. The Broodlords as well. The Colossi countered by the Corruptors somewhat. Down go the Nexus. Okay, it's dead. It's dead. It is dead. Scarlett able to close the distance. I love the attempt. The Archon drop. Was fun. I'm not convinced on it as the choice, but all right. Last game. Everybody says last game. All right, our last chance. Data or Cosmic or anything. Okay, we'll do it. Data C! We're gonna play real ladder maps. No troll games here. Well, I mean, historically, Nina is a very micro-oriented player. And Scarlett is a very late-game player. So, unfortunately, Nina's proclivity for intense micro is going right up against Scarlett's experience in the ultra late game. Puns intended. And as fun as the Prism cons are, it's not cracking the turtle shell. All right. Game last. The last game for they've been playing for a couple hours before I was able to jump in, so I'm not sure what the overall record is, but we've definitely gotten to the I'm gonna make 8 warp prisms and fill them with the Archons point. So you cannot use Neural Parasite on a prism with units inside. It just like it doesn't give you the option to do it, which is how you know there's units inside as well, technically. I wouldn't test that out by trying to Neural Parasite every prism, but one of the few scenarios where it becomes very relevant. All right. I'd like to see I don't know, actually. Honestly, Protoss got no buffs. No slightly faster observers. Slightly faster sentry build time. Slightly faster upgrades. Slightly faster High Templar speed. But honestly, when it comes to the highlights, nothing really stands out as probe being annoying. So the worker acceleration and timing buffs players who like to be annoying with their probe, because probes will be somewhat more responsive alongside other workers. So if you are one of those Terrans who has a mental breakdown when a probe starts attacking your SCV, good. I mean, that's unfortunate for you, but it is all workers, so. Stargate this time around is the choice. First time we've seen it here. Oracle still probably the most reliable early game option. What's it gonna be? It isn't. Oh my god! I was ready to say. So of course we're not going for Oracle, but here we are. Adept Shade. Second one headed out as well. Looks like we're going to try to snipe some workers with the Adepts, or at least keep a lot of pressure on while the Oracle comes out. It's been scouted. Oh, what? Alright, Adept Shade's all the way through. Whoop. Maybe a bit unfortunate there, but gets a drone. Gets a scout. We're going to keep chalking up things that casters say. Lost mining time. Down goes another drone. Even a larva. A defenseless larva murdered by the Oracle. Ugh. Disgusting. Take away their weapons. That shouldn't be fair. Twilight Council to follow it up. We got Moracles out. 2 of them right now. Adding a third. Decides against it. Chrono boosts and then cancels for blink. Okay. Oh, for the Overlord's sake. Interesting. The Overlord actually was on its way out, but caught a glimpse of the chrono boosted Oracle, and that may be enough to give Scarlett the wrong idea. Let me out! Let me out! Let me out! Probe getting... customs inspection always takes too long. Oracles. Revelation slapped down. Not much left to see. It's going to be melee. This is the most standard looking, or at least as the current quote-unquote meta goes. The most standard looking game so far. We got +1 melee. We got a 4th base on the way. We got a few oracles into blank. More gates finishing up. No forge yet. Templar Archives forge being added on. No robo. But Nina filling in all those ground-based blanks. We'll see if Scarlett, who just slammed out 14 more drones, bringing her to 75 plus here. Is it going to be Spire again, or is it Hydra time? Because the Stargate, this game, unlike the others, the Stargate is already done, clearly. Though, one less Oracle will make it a little easier to hide things. Hydra is dead. Probably the most significant changes to Zerg come from there. The Muscular Augments upgrade now adds another about 25% movement speed, which makes them effectively faster than Archons, where they were the same speed before off creep. As well as the damage point being reduced from 0.15 to 0.10. That is not the damage amount. That is how long it takes to attack after you start the animation. So Marines, for example, have a low damage point. Adepts have a relatively high one, where it takes a while before the attack actually goes off. So in essence, that means Hydras are significantly more microable. Storm is on the way. Nina with Archons, and Storm gonna be needed against this many Lings and Lisks. The wall, the shield, against all this being set up. Multiple gateways. The 4th base as well. Scarlett. There were a couple dropper lords somewhere. You're looking at Baneling drop? Likely, yeah. Oracle Revelation. Spots the Hydras. Confirms the suspicions. How many Templar? 6 Templar on the field. Some Banelings. And +2 melee. The ability to one-shot probes. Unless they have, like, +2 armor and shields, which is not happening anytime soon. So many Templar. Looks like Scarlett gonna hold on the Banelings. A quick scout of the main. Nina at 89 probes. Could afford to lose a few, to be honest. Oh my. Contaminate on the Forge here. But the +1 upgrade already finished. Oh, Baneling stormed on the right flank. Nina already getting the vast majority of these Banes. Loses the Oracle, but will have Revelation. Nina, good defense so far. Baneling drop comes in. 13 total worker kills, so not devastating. And reveals that. And it was right before +2, a bit of a mistake. Storms wash over everything. Another round of Baneling. You see those Hydras slithering along. They don't have the range upgrade yet, but especially on creep. Scarlett getting the creep across the map and within 9 minutes, despite having to wait marginally longer on the cooldown. Oh my god, how will Zerg ever play? The gateway's falling, but the storms will hold. Nina with a big charge lock counter, finally getting some damage. The Hydras, Lings, and Banes. Baneling's trying to come forward, but the Immortal and Archons alongside the Storms enough. The supplies are about even, and these Zealots are doing real damage here. Right-clicked on the hatch. Another Baneling drop. Carrier's on the way. The hatch. Oh my! The last Zealot. I really thought that was a mistake, but getting the hatch is kind of a huge deal. Ends up making the difference. And now Scarlett, a bit on the back foot as the carriers start. Those carriers, much different. The Hydras will automatically attack them if they're within range. And Interceptors have 10 less shields. So overall, there's almost no way to slice it but a nerf to the carrier. Though Interceptors will have a larger attack range. The effective result of the Interceptor attack radius is that it doesn't die to splash damage as easily, which includes Parasitic Bomb, Storm. Yes, Storm might be relevant. Speaking of, massive damage to Scarlett's Hydras. But there's still a whole bunch of Hydras and no Storms over here. A single carrier isn't going to do much. The Templar sliding up. 2 Spires on the way. Double Spire as well as the Hive. More Lings and Banes. Scarlett didn't lose that many drones in the last fight at 82 and reestablished the hatches. So Nina gonna need some counter damage or just settle in for the ultra late game. More storms. There's Templar on both sides. A lot of Banelings here. The cannons are about to complete, which will slow things down. A small warp in. I believe Scarlett spotted this. And yeah, sees it at the launch tower. The Zealots will fight, but they will not move through it. The Hydra's chasing. They are still slightly slower, I think, than the Prism, but it's quite a competition. On the right, the Templar. Ooh. Very close there to finding the storms, but also losing so many important Templar. Corrupt grades on the way. As well as maybe drops for Banelings on Templar. We got 4 Dropper Lords on the way, and I don't think that's for killing workers right now. Storms. Oh, the Templar getting boxed in, but the Storms hold the line. The Templar got a slight move speed increase, and they can more easily glide along. They're about the same move speed as a carrier now. Which is, you know, kind of a decent buff. Especially for keeping them alive and them not lagging behind the armies. You know, for something that can fly, they really should move faster. Well, here comes the carriers. We may get our test. It is 7 carriers, 10 High Templar. It's a Hydra-based army. They don't have more HP. They can just move out of the storms faster, but not if their own Banelings are boxing them in. Falling back, more storms. Oh, but a lot of High Templar get hit by the Banes, and it looks like it was just a big drop into the main. Scarlett taking a whole lot of damage here, but the Interceptor count is so high. There's no Corruptor, 17 more Hydras on the way. Very vulnerable to the storms. The Hydra's fighting the Interceptors here at range, but the Templar count. Here comes some storms. Hits a clump. Some Archons morphing. The Hydra is still fighting. Trying to just fight the Interceptors. Gonna be down to 1 Archon. The Interceptors are falling. Remember, the Interceptors have less effective HP. They're able to micro here. They have 10 less HP apiece, and suddenly, wait a second, the carriers are out of Interceptors. And without them, Scarlett's Hydra count is high enough to turn things around. And it looks like the Hydras will hold for now. Scarlett did lose a base and a lot of units here. Lost 8,000 more minerals, but only a few hundred more gas. Nina has reestablished her economy, including that key base outside of the first 4. So Scarlett is just going straight up Hydralisks here. Really testing the limits, but once the storms come back around, this is very visible. That's a lot of Templar, and there's no Banelings. But dealing with the Interceptors. Oh, trying to charge up the Interceptors here, but... Oh, finding... Uh-oh. Oh, well done. Essentially, slingshotting the Interceptors onto the Hydras is enough. The Hydras on their own with that many Templar. Still not a counter as Nina takes one back. I did appreciate that slingshot move. But the Hydra's vulnerable to the storms and of these games. I mean, Scarlett still takes 2, but Nina showing that armies still work. Templar's still good. Archon's still powerful. So, overall, thank you to Scarlett and Nina for letting me cast, and for you for watching. If this ends up on YouTube, which I think very likely, you can check out that amazing video right there, which is probably me going over all the patch changes and you guys arguing in the comments. Who wins? Who loses? who needs to be nerfed and who escaped it. I hope I made your day a little bit better. Good luck, have fun. Stay tuned.